like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. And if you're watching these clips later on, don't forget to sign up for the other stuff with the little buttons. Thumb, and then, I don't know. The sales on this escapes me. Why does my camera keep drifting? There you go. It's a little sliver right over there, and I don't know why. It's like it's constantly listing to port. I mean, how can you pass up this jackass when he's dressed like Fred Flintstone's hairdresser? He's wearing a different set of necklaces today, and then is his hair wet, or is it? I don't know what that is. I think it's just
disinformation.
Oh God. This is called "You Are Now the Enemy of the State." No shit.
Disinformation. Won't someone please?
Oh, fuck off. It's going to be about, yeah.
Save me from disinformation. Yeah, Joe Biden will. He set up a disinformation governance board. Only one letter different from the KGB. All good there. Hello.
Only one letter different than the KGB. That's not a premise you're going to hang the rest of your argument off of.
Hello there, you 5.6 million awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me on this voyage. I appreciate you. I love you.
That's a lie. And it's fucking creepy.
If you want to see me live, you can. If you're not subscribed.
Yeah, I can't, actually.
Yet, subscribe. If you ain't turned on the notification bell, turn it on so as it wakes
No, I'm not going to do that.
you up in the dead of night every time something occurs to me. What's occurred to me now
something concurs to you?
is that disinformation has become like, what is disinformation? No.
Yeah, I don't even fucking know. It's active misinformation. It's weaponized lies. It is telling people, large groups of people or individuals, either singularly or across a broad spectrum, a piece of information that will put their life in danger or set them on a path that is antithetical to their expressed wants and desires. That's what it is. Misinformation is this fucker reading things and then spitting it back out because his comprehension skills suck.
We used to talk about disinformation. We used to talk about propaganda, downright lies, not trusting.
Right. Disinformation is more subtle than propaganda. Propaganda is specifically based on the idea that you would propose the idea of a superiority around a particular thought form and the sale of that particular thought form. Propaganda is not whisper campaigns. These are totally different things. Most people put them all together in one group, but they aren't. And especially in the modern era, when you've got fuckos like you pitching lies and selling them because you make money off of fear and anxiety, because, of course, Rusty Rockets here is a fear farmer. Disinformation it's having a day.
People, discernment, making decisions for yourself. Now what it's all about is disinformation. Someone might disinformation you so hard. I think it kind of began around Joe Rogan Spotify, didn't it?
Yeah, that's when disinformation first thought of it. I mean, everything in the world really does happen when it first occurs to Russell Brand. I know. You're thinking, I was aware of the term and the concept long before that. Hell, a lot of us go back to even the 2016 campaign when we might have really seen the flag get raised on this thing. But you gotta understand, he lives in England. He didn't give a fuck about it then.
It was this. That Joe Rogan's popular, and we don't seem to be able to control him. That's annoying. What if we say that he's doing disinformation and misinformation? What do you mean?
Well, there's a distinct difference between disinformation and misinformation. Most of the time, the concern with Joe Rogan or the people that are on there is that he is passing along misinformation, and some of the people that he's having on are specifically selling disinformation, namely Alex Jones.
What do you mean by that? Is it objectively disinformation or misinformation, or is it stuff you don't agree with?
It's objectively disinformation or misinformation. The stuff that we disagree about isn't the same thing. It's just a point of disagreement.
Because even in fields of expertise and apparent scientific empiricism...
Ooh, that was an edit. And some people might think that in the middle of a sentence where you're talking about scientific empiricism, that having edit in the middle of it might make people think that your editor thinks you said something legally questionable or something fucked up or just beyond stupid and had to cut it out, and they had to do a re-edit to patch it together.
Are still disagreements and discussions to be had. And I reckon when the state set up an agency to determine what is truth and what's not true.
Well, that's not what they're doing. They're not trying to determine what's true and what's not true. They are recognizing that certain groups, specifically cartels and hacker farms like Fuzzy Bear and the Macedonian hacker farms that attacked our election with fake BLM accounts and shit like that, are very active. And so if you look at what they're putting out, you can go, okay, this is the disinfo message that's coming out. Where is it landing and who's carrying it forward? Maybe we could tell those people that, by the way, that email list you subscribed to, you thought was fine, you could still subscribe to it. None of our fucking business, but it actually comes from a Macedonian hacker farm. You might want to know that. Even if you totally think I'm full of shit, go check it out yourself. That would be helpful, one would think. Because it's one thing to have dumb fucking ideas, Russell, as you often do, but at least you want to believe that they're yours.
Guess what I reckon could happen? I mean, I don't know if I'm being really cynical. They may say things are not true if those things are not convenient to them. I mean, what's Julian Assange in prison for? Disinformation.
He's not in prison.
People right up the Gulf War. Let's have a look at this.
He's not in prison. He hasn't been in prison. Neither is Edward Snowden, by the way. And last I looked, the people who questioned his motives but thought that whistleblower protection should still exist, which is, I believe, a balanced view of the entire thing, didn't engage in flying him to Russia and dropping him the fuck off. I don't think.
So the Department of...
This is source CBS News, Disinformation Governance Board to tackle spread of misinformation in the U.S. So the Disinformation Governance Board to tackle spread of misinformation in the government. So they're going to spot what's disinformation. This is from the title of this article, apparently. Hold on. Just an interesting title. I think it's cute. To tackle spread of misinformation, which is exactly the point. It's actually pretty concise. Active disinformation is meant to create misinformation, which is people thinking they're reading something legitimate when someone actively is putting something illegitimate into the information space and fake boosting it so that people think it's legit, or doing stories about how it's being suppressed. So people who are keen to believe things that are suppressed must also therefore be true, will pass it along. And they're not in that moment passing along disinformation. They're passing along misinformation because they have their head up their ass.
Homeland Security is setting up a disinformation governance board to try to counter the spread of false information.
Yeah, that's the title of the article.
So remember the last couple of years, have there been examples of things that were said to be true or not true that then later the perspective or opinion changed? Disinformation expert.
Like what? Yeah, just think anything that, like in the beginning, like when Trump was saying that China was handling COVID really well, and yet the CDC and everybody else was going, no, they fucking well aren't. And yet he would come out to a podium and say it. And
Nina Jankowicz will lead the board. Let's just hope that Nina Jankowicz is 100% reliable and has got no previous...
Wait, what the fuck are you looking at? Who are you sharing that moment with, Russell? Who's that? Did you go to the Don Jr. School of Broadcasting? Huh? Were you sharing a little joke about Miss Jankowicz before the show, before you started taping? And you were like, yeah, that's a joke you and I both like.
Yes, of making any bull...
Oh, and they edited it. Look at this.
Hope that Nina Jankowicz is...
Did he laugh at whoever he was talking to?
100% reliable and has got no previous of making any balls up in any area at all. 100% reliable and has got no previous of making any balls up.
What the fuck? Balls up in... No previous what?
But Nina Jankowicz is 100% reliable and has got no previous of making any balls up in any area at all.
All right, fucking bullshit English slang with a shit edit in the center of it. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. But the idea is that unless she's the Pope of information, she's not allowed to judge anybody's information because how dare you? Meanwhile, by the way, this fucker is exactly who he's warning you that she is. He filters whatever news he has through himself and then pretends like, I'm just sharing. I'm asking questions. We're all on this. We're seeking truth amongst each other. It's not like this is a big profit motivated bullshit fest or anything.
Cool. In a twist to implausible for fiction, the abbreviation DGB is one letter off from KGB.
Why is it too implausible for fiction? I mean, it's the Wall Street Journal. Biden establishes a Ministry of Truth. By the way, look at the title of this one. By the way, this is a Murdoch paper. Yeah, that's right. Russell Brand is citing a point of wit and an observation made by a Rupert Murdoch paper called the Wall Street Journal. So what he's saying to you is not only should you trust the information coming from the Wall Street Journal, but their attitude towards this as well.
That's disinformation. It doesn't matter if something's got certain initial letters. You're being superstitious. The stated goal of combating mis and disinformation. What's the difference? It's already confusing, isn't it?
No, it isn't. Disinformation is active. Misinformation is passive.
Misinformation, well, it's misinformation before she's married, but once it gets married, it's disinformation.
No, fuck off.
Is framed to seem unobjectionable. Who objects to truth and pines for falsehood?
Russell.
Yeah, no one.
Russell. And Rupert Murdoch, for the record. The owner of this particular paper, I would say, actually, pines for falsehood. If anyone pines for fucking falsehoods, it's Rupert Murdoch and Russell Brand.
KGB experts will guide the way, separating the informational wheat from the disinformational chaff. But there's one small problem with empowering truth experts. Experts are people. I'm increasingly realising that, you know.
Oh yeah? Are you? That experts are human beings, and that you should cut them a little bit of slack and recognize that you don't deserve to be the purveyor of truth or the questioner of truth any more than they do, and their job is simply just to pass through this, and if you didn't even bother to do it, they're basically like nurses for information, and who the fuck needs nurses?
They're a person that goes home.
Oh, look at this. They're a person that goes home. Look at that edit.
Experts are people. I'm increasingly realising that, you know. They're a person that goes home and picks their nose and looks out the window and does a little fart. They're human beings. There's a crossover. There's fallibility. There's flaws. They're subject to the emotions that we're subject to. They're subject to bribery.
Yeah, that's why it's a board, fucko. So why should I trust you? You're telling me you don't do a little fart and pick your nose while you stare out the fucking window, which isn't a window, it's a fucking flat screen TV with a picture, a live video feed of your stupid fucking woodpile? You don't think we're going to notice it's not even the fucking part of the house. That's a flat screen.
They're certainly subject.
That's disinformation. It's even like the camera out there is even shit.
To ideologies, aren't they? And you're not going to give someone the job.
You can see the fucking frame shadow, you prick.
Of being in charge of disinformation, just like, you can do it. It's going to be someone who broadly agrees with you, has the same agenda as you. I'm not comfortable at all with anyone saying they know what the truth is, because, well, this is how I'm a human being.
Yeah, you spend all day telling everybody that you're like, you know what the truth is.
And my understanding of reality is continually changing. I thought that this was right. I thought that was right. This is wrong now. Oh, God.
Yeah, fucko. That's because you read a bunch of goddamn gibberish and you have no ethical root to carry your life forward on. You don't have this asshole does not live a principled life and therefore can't understand anything that's based on a principled idea. So the whole world is debatable. He's always on sand. Or more to the point, you are always on sand because he dictates what that reality is to his audience in this regard. On his own life, he didn't give a rat fuck. He shuts the camera off and does a little fart and picks his nose and looks out a window and fucking spends whatever ad money they make from 5 million fucking viewers on YouTube alone.
God, it's continually evolving and shifting, and that's a good thing. That's a sign that you're engaged with reality and
not if you're questioning gravity, fucko.
symbiotic relationship with stimuli and circumstance.
With stimuli and circumstance. Yeah, and it would be nice to know that that stimuli and circumstance that you're engaged with, where you're constantly having this shifting view of the existence of every fucking thing in your entire world, would be based on something real instead of some asshole in Macedonia who works for Vladimir Putin crafting a bullshit website that you were led to click on to go, oh shit, this must be real. There's a whole giant fucking website about it.
The alternative is dogma. The alternative is tyranny.
No, it isn't. There's a long road between, I don't know what anything is to you, and total fucking, like, I will tell you exactly what it is, and it is no other thing. Like, what kind of an asshole lives in that zone?
The alternative is the DGB, what you're being offered. If you don't produce...
What are you smiling about, you fuck? Britain has something worse than this. Also, by source, Wall Street Journal. Hold on. Biden establishes a ministry of truth. Wall Street Journal. Here we go. Wall Street Journal. Oh. No, you don't. That word doesn't stick out. This is on the opinion and commentary. So it's not a source from the Wall Street Journal. There is no source to this because it is someone's opinion in the opinion commentary page. Not even opinion editorial. By Roger Copel and Abigail Devereaux. Well, let's have a look, shall we? Who the fuck are they? Do we have... Whoops. So what is this? Control... Nope. All right. Hold on. Back the fuck up, silly. Oh, it's in here. Sorry. Wrong page. President Joe Biden speaks to the... look at him smiling. The Department of Homeland Security has announced the formation of Disinformation Governance Board charged, according to Politico, with... so source Politico then, I guess. With countering misinformation related to Homeland Security, focused specifically on irregular migration and Russia. And a twist too implausible... Okay, the GBB thing. The stated goal is combating mis and disinformation is framed to seem unobjectional. Experts are people respond to incentives. Therefore, experts respond to incentives. Graham Medley, a British expert involved in UK policy response to COVID, illustrated the point in a recent testimony before Parliament. The worst thing for me would be for the government to say, why didn't you just tell us it could be that bad? Inevitably, we were always going to have a worst case, which was above reality. Put yourself in his shoes. If you predict doom and nothing much happens, it was because of your wise warning. If you don't predict doom and reality is worse than you predicted, you will be blamed and shamed. The incentives are clear. The truth experts at DGB will proclaim grave threats around every turn when they see any threats are minor to non-existent. What? When any threats are minor to non-existent. Well, that's an assertion that would fall under opinion and commentary. By creating the DGB, the U.S. government is creating a crisis monitor with the dial permanently set to existential threat. No one inside the board will have the incentive or the courage to dial it down. Well, there is a whole other department, and they are one little part of it. You do realize there's like a section within the DOD that deals with nothing but the breakout of nuclear war, right? That's all they fucking do, all day long. There's a group in there that does chemical warfare, too. All the possibilities, all the fucking time. Do you think the DOD or any of our governmental bodies that have subgroups within them are automatically taken over by those groups who are mainly made up of people who think that's the worst threat in the world all the fucking time? What a douchebag. It's an opinion piece. I mean, the name Biden establishes Ministry of Truth is bullshit Fox News enough.
Predict doom and reality is worse than you predicted, you will be blamed and shamed. The incentives are clear. Truth experts at the DGB will proclaim grave threats around every turn, even when any threats are minor to non-existent.
By the way, this is also the Wall Street Journal's feeling towards the CDC.
Of course, the facility and ability to enhance centralised power increases under threat. Like, think about your own life. When you feel, broadly speaking, relaxed and all right,
Okay, let me relate to this.
you got a little spring in your step. You might go for a stroll, maybe catch an apple and flip it off your elbow. But then it's like, oh, I don't think things are going to work out for you. Oh no, should I even be eating this apple? Like, if you're continually stimulated into a state of fear, you're more...
Dude, that's your fucking show. I mean, what better example? The DHS board about disinfo is fucking meaningless to most people's lives if you're not easily, hooked into fucking QAnon and shit. And yet this dickhead is making a mountain out of this molehill because you're like, this mountain may crush you. And then he sells an anxiety, breathing program and meditation course on his other channel.
More easy to control. Imagine that happening at a state level. Imagine the sort of frequency jam of anxiety that's just been going on and on and on, one story to the next. It's just...
Dude, again, this asshole is describing his channel. And if you don't believe me, fuck, man. The idea that we even have to look this up and show people in case you might be relatively new to... Russell Brand, apparently, folks, is concerned that...
Look, it's me, Russell Brand.
Hey, look, it's you. This guy is apparently concerned that you are being fed a diet of wall-to-wall anxiety, and that it's and that the whole thing is done to either control and shape you. Hold on one second. Let me stretch this down, if I may. There we go. Oh, so this is what it was about all along? Is he serious? This is a fucking disgrace. With the CDC and some sort of fucking knight in the corner. Brian Cox, how can we trust the objectiveness of science? Okay. You are now an enemy of the state. That's the one we're doing. Elon versus Big Pharma. It begins. Dave Chappelle attack. My reaction. Depp versus her distraction. What I have realized. Oh, so the establishment are shitting themselves. All hail Anthony Fauci. Now it makes sense. This is all the conspiratorial stuff. Now I get it. It was always profit. It was always manipulation. Russell Brand reacts to the Trump-Morgan interview. The truth about woke Disney. Elon we're not allowed to talk about this in a fucking video that he was able to put up that was 18 minutes long that has almost 1 million fucking views. Death isn't the end. It's a short. Great. Metaverse, this changes everything. Here we go again. This is scandalous. Now it makes sense. He does that one a lot. The Great Reset, a warning. So it was just bullshit then. I tried to warn you. Wait, did they just admit that? You were right. They lied. This is the end times. The Great Reset, it begins. This motherfucker. But again, please tell me how the existence of this governing board, hold on. There we go. Is ultimately the problem. Fucking hell. What a douchebag.
It's like an ongoing sort of carnival of misery. Oh, thank God that pandemic's over.
Yeah, asshole, it's your show. That's all this dude does is sell anxiety. Get fucked.
War now. Oh, God. Right, don't think about the war. It's got a bit boring. But bloody Johnny Depp's marriage is a right state.
Literally, this is their morning meeting when they're trying to come up with video concepts.
By creating the DGB, the US government is creating a crisis monitor with the dial permanently set to existential threat.
Which is the opinion of two writers at the Wall Street Journal, which you would think he would mention. This is from an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal. Like that, this is the opinion of two people you might disagree with. This is not a fact. This is not from a source.
No one inside the board will have the incentive or the courage to dial it down.
Speak for your fucking self. I mean, literally, again, why does this appeal to Russell Brand or even to the Wall Street Journal? Because they're part of the fear machine.
No, why would you dial down your own power when your business is power? That's what the government is. The government is about power, control. That's what the word government means.
I guess the question would be, why would you stop selling fear, anxiety, hate, distrust, and paranoia when it obviously is helping to boost your channel? Maybe I could learn a thing or two. Should I get some sort of big, I don't know, like theme? Maybe I should go straight conspiracy. Maybe I should just, eat a bunch of cheese and take a bunch of prednisone and get all bloated.
The dangers of the
Through my Hallex Jones.
DGB will be amplified if it becomes the tool of partisan political actors, and it already has. Executive Director Nina Jankowicz, who once described Hunter Biden's laptop as a Trump campaign product, has written that America's information landscape includes declining trust in the media fed by the Trump administration's relentless attacks on the fourth estate. She has said, unless we mitigate our own political polarisation, our own internal issues, we will continue to be an easy target for any malign actor, Russian or Iranian, foreign or domestic, to manipulate. I suppose to create this agency, you have to legitimise its existence. I suppose the presidency...
Hold on. Do you disagree with what she fucking said? She's not wrong at all. You're welcome to be a misinformed asshole. It's part of being an American, or in your case, Russell, a lonely job in the UK. But again, that misinformed asshole state that you find yourself in should be organic.
If Trump did a lot of things that were beneficial to those currently in power. It created sort of an omnipresent bogeyman, even after Trump's power. We say bogeyman in my country.
What country is that? I'm not completely convinced it's the UK at this point. I think you live in a wooded area somewhere in the Arctic Circle.
Omnipresent power who's still being used even after his administration has ended.
Yeah, ended. I mean, it's not like he's doing rallies and picking Republicans and that the judges he put in are affecting policy in our fucking country.
I'm not sure that Trump's version of misinformation is any worse than Biden's version of misinformation.
That's because you don't give a fuck. You are totally devoid of responsibility and you make money on the worry.
Information. Imagine if before Biden was elected, this was going on. That laptop, it is real. Oh no, this laptop, it turns out it was Hunter's. There's no such thing as objective mis or disinformation. There are...
Well, yes, there is. Show me the fucking laptop. Show me a picture of it. Honestly. Show me a copy of the hard drive that was a one-to-one copy that has not been manipulated even before the laptop was handed over to this asshole. Have you read the article on the Washington Post that allegedly says it still exists, where both of their experts said it's a fucking disaster? It is a manipulation scheme. It was Russian disinformation. It's bullshit. It doesn't fucking exist. There's a huge difference between misinformation and disinformation in this key, and the easiest way to answer it would be to see the fucking thing. A picture. One fucking picture.
Sets of facts that are convenient to certain outcomes.
Here's a fact that is convenient. You've never seen it, neither have I. As a matter of fact, neither has the fucking guy who got the files off of the fake one that they handed him. He can't even describe Hunter Biden, what he looked like, what he was wearing when he came in, and he can't describe how that person was any different looking in their clothes or manner or speaking than the one of the guys who came in posing as FBI agents.
In 2020, when Donald Trump was president, Jankowicz did not want the executive branch to have the power to control free speech. Oh, it's okay when we do it. Since it was announced...
Well, no, they're not controlling free speech. A new disinformation board chief used to say the executive branch shouldn't control speech. Well, they don't control speech. They wouldn't control speech. They wouldn't have the ability to control speech. Any more than the Department of Homeland Security has the ability to control immigration. They don't set policy for immigration for the country. That whole department exists and doesn't do that.
announced that she would lead the board, her previous social media posts and interviews have surfaced, with many noting she's previously spread misinformation herself.
Like what?
You're the perfect candidate. We call you misinformation. Actually, it's misinformation. Oh, sorry. This is
It's a chick joke.
highlighted the problem of how people trying to control misinformation online are actively calling for censorship while spreading misinformation themselves.
Like what?
Perhaps we should all just accept that
Perhaps we should just all accept that whatever chunks of the articles that Russell reads, without, let's see. Here you go. References. Here they go. Here's the, look at that. Open link in new tab. Lovely. Let's see. Oh, nope. Let me read it first. I'm not. New disinformation board chief used to say the executive branch should do a change of heart. In 2021, the powers to earlier this week, government announced new disinformation government board will enter the. Since it was announced she would lead the board, a previous social media service, with many noting she's previously saying. For instance, she called the New York Post story about the Hunter Biden laptop Russian propaganda. This highlighted the problem how people trying to control misinformation online actively. What Hunter Biden laptop? She's still right about it. She said that an executive arm of the government should not control speech. Well, they're not. Even with her on this board, it wouldn't do that. Imagine that right now calling these new organizations and intervening from stories that we're getting out of here to call it fake news and now lashing out at platforms. I would never want to see our executive branch have that sort of power, and that's why the legislative process with our duly elected officials is really important. Sort of consultative rulemaking process. We can't just govern by executive order anymore. Yeah, they didn't. That's not what this is. Executive branch Trump having a say in what's true or false, using Poland's Ministry of Digitalization as an example of anti-democratic online governance. She also admits to being funded by Facebook. I see. Well, then that's the end of it.
we might all be capable of saying things that are not true, that we might all be wrong, that we've been wrong many times before.
Yeah, but that's true. But not many of us can monetize it the way you have, Russell.
And we'll be wrong many times again in the future. Perhaps we shouldn't.
Yeah, being wrong is not the same as misinformation and disinformation. And claiming that it is wrong on purpose. There's a word for that. Oh yeah, disinformation.
Enter this conversation with such certainty, but with a degree of openness that the people we disagree with might be right. And better yet, we might find a common truth between us if we approach one another with open hearts. Not with...
Yeah, but you're leaving one thing out of the fucking equation, which is an active liar. It's like, okay, this is the best example I can give. There's a guy in a bar, and he's trying to roofie a girl. That's his point for the night. Russell is just trying to get her liquored up and fuck her the old-fashioned way. And the girl is there on the fence about whether or not she wants to get laid. And so she's having a conversation, and she's saying, I don't know, maybe his breath's a little wonky, and I don't know, I understand the Fred Flintstone outfit or whatever, but he was in that movie, so maybe I'll give it a shot. And she's sipping on her drink, trying to decide if she needs more than a stiff one to decide to go home with this dipshit. And then there's a guy at the bar who's just trying to fucking drop something into her fucking drink and knock her out. And what Russell is saying to this girl in this analogy is, look, I'm trying to get you liquored up, and that's just a normal part of our interaction. This fellow is just trying to do it in his own way. And so when you make the decision whether or not to have conscious sex with either one of us, which you probably won't be able to do at some point in this evening, there's really no difference between you going home by yourself and thinking, having second thoughts about fucking me, and this dude dosing you and taking you against your will while you're knocked the fuck out. We're talking about information roofies. We're not talking about bullshitting. He's talking about bullshitting, and this board is set up to stop the roofies.
Naivety and stupidity with open hearts.
And again, this guy isn't putting a roofie in her drink because he's naive or stupid. He's doing it because he's a malign actor. He knows it's the only way he can do this.
And a kind of reluctance to yield to our own inner dogma and the simplifying comfort that it gives you.
There's no moral argument in roofie versus non-roofie. They do it secretly. That's what these are. This is what disinformation is, an information roofie. That's what it is. And what he's saying is, what's the difference between, like, if somebody roofies you and you you walk out the door and you're too tall for the frame and you knock yourself out and they have sex with you while you're unconscious. I mean, really, what's the difference?
You to just think, well, I'm right, they're all bad actors, disinformation, misinformation. That's no way to run a country. That's not even the way to run one mind.
Yeah, nobody thinks like that. It's a straw man. A straw man, apparently, that you're comfortable roofing you.
Perhaps the most interesting revelation is that in May 2020, she said that the executive arm of the government should not control speech. Did I say not? I meant should.
Imagine that, with President Trump right now calling all of these news organizations that have inconvenient for him stories that they're getting out there, that he's calling fake news and now lashing out at platforms. I would never want to see our executive branch have that sort of power.
You can be in charge of it if you want. Okay, that I'll do.
Well, the question she's making is part of DHS, which is a department. Though there's somebody that heads it that's under the president. He doesn't have direct control over it, just like the DOJ, just like the DNI. There's an overarching theory on that, but that doesn't change their oath.
And this
is not like an office in the White House.
Why, the legislative process with our duly elected officials is really important. That sort of
and Joe Biden was duly elected.
Sort of consult
by a lot.
Rulemaking process, and we can't just govern by executive order anymore.
Well, they didn't create it by executive order. DHS created it because of a threat they recognized.
Couldn't persuade themselves of anything. Don't you think that, human beings? Like when you've done something wrong yourself, like maybe you're stealing something. It's not really stealing. I mean, they probably won't miss. They're probably going to just throw this away. If you've got no actual principles, then
then you can just put on a show like this all the time. You can wear a Fred Flintstone cardigan and sit in front of a fake window and pretend you're at home when you're totally not, with a couple of plants that other people take care of for you at a podcasting studio that someone has drafted up.
And you can just sort of do what you want. And I think that our systems of government, our systems of regulation should be, one, elected by the people that are affected by them and should be reflections of our better nature and should be as low.
They are. Up till now, we didn't have anybody pushing back against this new threat that exists. And because of technology and misinformation being weaponized against the country for a long time, we actually needed it. So that happened now because people want functional governance. And we've all recognized that a certain amount of active disinformation from foreign malign actors, especially people recruiting people to come across the southern border, which is the other part of what they're handling, is something that needs to be addressed.
Local as possible, as close to the people affected by them as is reasonable or feasible. Not abstract, centralized rules where people make stuff up that's not...
Yeah, that's you're accusing them of doing something automatically, which you would bristle, Russell, against someone doing to you.
It's going to affect them because it's convenient for them. What happens if Trump wins in 2024? You can't have centralized thing. No.
I think the
Well, the DHS would have control over that, and then there would be oversight into what it means.
Reverberations in the free speech.
Also, the chances of him being reelected without the help of disinformation is slimmer.
Space are huge.
It's amazing to hear someone even use free speech that's not from what you would regard or what is regarded as the right. Free speech now has been repackaged as, people don't want free speech. They can go around being sexist, racist, misogynist, hateful, transphobic. Like, I believe in free.
No, there's also the anti-vax, soft reality confusion base that like RT tries to push. Sounds vaguely familiar.
Speech, and I don't believe in any of those things. That people should treat one another with love and respect where possible, judging each other as individuals, not judging each other at all where possible. And
that's weird because I have literally never seen you do a show without judging someone. Not a one. As a matter of fact, I've seen you pick and choose who you're judging. Almost all the time, it's American Democrats. And then refusing to judge when it comes to someone like Trump, which is odd because it's very specific. Anybody else notice that in all the videos?
And approaching things with a set of universal principles that can be applied no matter what the bloody demographic data is of the group or individual you're talking about.
Yeah, the nice thing about people is they're all scared of the same shit. And if I can scare them enough, they'll all buy my breathing plan.
Well, I believe, and I believe in free speech. And evidently, a few years ago, that's what people, generally speaking, on the left used to believe. Well, look.
Oh, that was a weird gesture.
Look at it now. Free speech, essentially, might as well have a swastika in the middle of it.
Not to
Oh, yeah? Is that how we feel about free speech? Or has that phrase been co-opted by right-wingers simply so they can get more swastikas online?
mention, this is exactly what Section 230 was designed to do, to allow the platforms to enforce the standards on their own spaces.
There she is, a young, reasonable person making a lot of reasonable points. Now, as long as those points hold fast, whoever's in government, then I've got no problem. Let's see what she's up to now.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a
Again, they're playing this like TikTok video that she did. It might have been a Facebook video. I don't know. I don't watch these kind of things. But really fucking smart and well put together, kind of in line with like a Randy Rainbow kind of
Fox
thing.
to take some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious.
I don't know why she's doing this. What's going on?
It's how you hide a little lie, little lie. It's how you hide a little lie, little lie.
I'm not sure that this is the right person to run the old disinformation governance.
Yeah, she's too charming and likable. She's got a personality. Yes, I think you're right, Russell. I don't think anyone should take anyone who does comedic videos or performances seriously when they get into a serious role in talking about. No, I don't. I think it just pertains to you.
Bored.
When Rudy Giuliani shared that intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice or vote. Oh!
That's made me feel unusual. What?
Why? Seriously, why?
She's done there, she seems to have changed her perspective and her entire outlook on life.
She's talking about, it's literally a song about disinformation weaponized to fuck with our democracy. She wrote a fucking jingle. She performed it amazingly well. It was like, it had to have taken several tries.
Preferring to sort of do jaunty little ditties. I suppose we're all entitled to have a little bit of fun.
Are we? I don't think so. I mean, she is a woman, Russell. You know. I know it upsets you when women have a little fun on their own.
As long as that fun isn't at odds with what the DGB believes fun
Yeah, because they're going to be the fun police. That's what we're finally coming to.
should be and how fun should be communicated.
Yes, how should fun be communicated? I think the first thing they're going to do is outlaw TikTok because it's malware.
How can you ever really justify controlling information at...
You're not controlling information. You're just letting people know where the information came from. They can still make stupid decisions. That's a wonderful part of this. That's the great thing about this, Russell. You can, even with this, buddy, you can still be a fucking moron. Now, I understand this makes you a little nervous because your talking points are cut from some very specific places that are absolutely dovetailing messages that oddly show up as Russian talking points or malign Chinese or Iranian talking points that show up on the internet, and then a couple of days later start trickling into your transom and then end up being a subject to your fucking videos. And I know that'll make you a little nervous when the DGB comes out and goes, hey, we're noticing this uptick in this particular bullshit story, and here's where it started. And then people like Russell go, holy fuck, I subscribe to that newsletter.
that scale in alliance with one particular party when you've expressed the contrary view when another party is in power. One of the few things I can hold up as an example.
Well, I think one of the arguments is that the disinformation issue isn't a matter of party. None of what she said crisscrosses against the political beliefs of conservatives, for example, in general. It's about specific individuals and specific pieces of mis or disinformation that made it into the mainstream social media networks in the United States. I didn't hear anything about tax policy in there. Shit, she didn't even talk about abortion rights.
Of my integrity is that I disagree with both parties being in power because I disagree with the centralized system of governance.
We don't have centralized governance. It's one of the reasons why we have so much choppy electoral politics in the United States is because we have 3 equal branches. We don't have a monarchy. Only assholes have
that both of them represent, I think confining debate to such a small portion of...
Nobody's confining fucking debate to a small portion. What's left out of the conversation? That the earth is fucking flat? That PCP cures cancer? What are we missing here?
All potential political conversations is in itself a form of tyranny, and I don't think either party is meaningfully better.
Yeah, well, tell you what. Move here, register to vote, and I'll give a fuck. Up till then, I don't know why the fuck you think you have a say. Does anybody know why this asshole thinks that... why isn't he doing... maybe he is. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe he's got a whole other Canadian YouTube channel where he just shits on Canadian politics the same way. Honestly, yeah. Who the fuck... What part... You don't even have any skin in this game at all. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's why it's perfect. Because he literally has no responsibility in any of this. He could just shit on it from afar. I mean, if you were trying to do like an anti-revolutionary pushback against the existence of the United States on behalf of the monarchy and say, well, that's one of the things is that the system you guys set up fucking sucks. It doesn't work either direction. You'd be better off under the monarchy after all. You should probably just pack it in as a democracy and rejoin, the Queensland in that regard. This is exactly the message you would put forward.
Better than the other one in terms of American or British politics, say, for example.
Yeah, not for example, because you do all of our politics. Fuck you.
So I certainly don't think anyone's got the right to be haughty, supercilious, or to don a little bit of slap and start singing.
Don a little bit of slap. It's like whorish makeup. Too much, red lipstick. Yeah.
Jaunty little ditties about how they know the score. For me, truth is more complicated than that, and it should be resolved in the public sphere.
Yeah, it should be resolved with a dude dressed like a hippie David Koresh, Fred Flintstone, reading chunks of articles from Reclaim the Net and the Wall Street Journal. Not the whole thing.
The public square of ideas, we should debate and converse and recognise that mistakes will be made, lies will be told, as with the Hunter Biden laptop, as
there is no laptop.
with the weapons of mass destruction, as with the case of Julian Assange and how he's been subsequently treated. No.
I thought he was in prison. Where is he? How's he been subsequently treated?
Political party has dominion over truth. We all make mistakes and errors.
Right. But you should be able to make your mistakes organically.
The thing I object to most is the idea that some centralised government body
is going to tell you the difference between a roofied drink and one that hasn't.
Will know better about what kind of information I can digest than I would. But that's...
No, you can digest whatever fucking information you want. But that's just what I think. You don't forget.
That's what I think. Let me know.
Oh, fuck. Looking at him. Looking at his
what
buddy.
You think in the...
I'm done. Yeah, okay. I'm wrapping it up.
Comments below. If you don't subscribe to this channel yet...
No, I'm not going to.
Subscribe
Nah, I don't have to. It shows up anyways.
right now and turn
Nah, there's a bunch of things. You're even doing the bell now.
on the
That's
notification
terrible.
bell.
No, I'm not going to turn on the notification bell.
Also,
I'm not gonna do it.
subscribe.
Yeah, I'm not subscribing to your newsletter because why would I do that? I don't get enough hate and fear here. Is that a 33 on your arm?
To my newsletter.
Why do you have a 33 on your arm? Inquiring Masons want to know.
I tell you things on there that I can't tell you here,
Oh, I see. But they're not free, I guess.
including some massive information coming up soon. So please...
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's a lie. Look at his eyes. There is no massive information coming up soon. Just more of this. More of these. More of the same.
Please make sure you subscribe to that. Click on that right now.
That's a search bar. If right there, that's a search bar. To whoever edits these for you is fucking with you.
Let us know in the comments below what you believe, but...
No. Your comment section does not earn my beliefs.
most importantly of all, please stay free. Say what you want. Believe what you want. Argue with me if you want to. Stay free.
Stay free. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the permission, asshat. Jesus Christ. Ugh. And then, of course, look at these video titles, by the way. Oh, so the establishment are shitting themselves. That's Obama, Instagram, Facebook, Google, and Twitter. Oh, so it was just bullshit then. And it's Obama, Clinton, Vladimir Putin, Biden, and Johnson all laughing together. Do you know what kind of an asshole you have to be okay with those thumbnails and still say you're trying to, like, we just want to in love and we're coming together to try and understand complex issues? Do you know how gross that is? Do you think he has any idea? Russell, you're fucking gross, dude. You're gross. That's disgusting. I stand by my thumbnails and what I say in them, and I title my shows little silly things, and I'm certain that the algorithm would bathe more views on me if I use this kind of clickbait bullshit, but I'm not going to fucking do it. You know why? It's unethical. It's cruel. It's fucking gross. Ugh. I don't get it how this asshole like sells this stuff to himself every day. Gross, isn't it? All right, I went way over tonight. I went an extra 45 minutes, but I love you guys, and there you go. That's how it happens sometimes. I'm going to go. I will see you guys tomorrow in the afternoon. Regular show at 3 o'clock. No morning show tomorrow because I go to the gym. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I will be our travel days. I should be able to do my show regularly on Thursday. And then Friday, I go to, we've got shows in Jackpot, Nevada, Friday and Saturday night. And I come back Sunday. So I might have a quick rehearsal Wednesday night in LA, which is going to just be a great travel week. It's going to be a little crazy. So I'm trying to figure that out now, and we shall see what we shall see. I'll let you guys know, but take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I will see you tomorrow. Holy crap. These people, I don't get it. Yeah, Jackpot, Nevada. Yeah, the Tatooine of Nevada. Right. All right, be well. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Night. Thanks, guys.